Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to bring a series back again, which is going to be AI teams, but today we're going to not use ChatGPT, but Google's variant, Bard, which is actually way better for this. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. We're actually going to get 3 teams here. I was confused because this was the first time of me using this at all. I just recorded this immediately, and you see 3 teams here: Scrafty, Bastion, Altaria, the Swampert, Registeel, and Cresselia, but we're going to go for the Azumarill, Galarian, Stunfisk, and Walrein team. So let's go right into it. Okay, first, before we're gonna really go into it, here of course very decent lead for us. The Dragonite, we can see that they're going to have a Stunfisk in the back where we don't really have the best answers for it, but we can still play it out and maybe bait a Hydro Pump. But why is a Bard better than ChatGPT, and why did the series didn't progress for a longer time? Main reason was ChatGPT. ChatGPT was, I think, based on 2017, 2019 data or something. With Bard, its still main core is, I think, from a similar time, but Bard is updating on a regular basis, has informations about what happened today, what happened yesterday, and is way more in the real time, which is of course way more important for something like Pokemon Go, because this is something that shifts kinda frequently. So, it's of course still in AI, so it's most likely not as accurate or as decent at team building for example me here, but still it's going to be an interesting one. Here we're going to now have the Galarian Stunfisk against the Registeel, and this is going to be very nice because we can now shield up the incoming Focus Blast, we can go for one Earthquake, and also the opponent's still going to have only Pokemon in the back that are going to be weak against me, and they realize it, and first game going to be a win. So, let's take a look at the next team. We're going to see here now the Lantern in the lead, and this is exactly what I was worrying about from the get-go. This Pokemon is going to hard counter both my lead as well as my Say Swap, which makes this not really ideal here. So, you're going to shield up a move, but in comes now another hard counter, which is of course amazing, which is going to be the Medicham, which is going to be a little bit tricky. But we will be able to at least go ahead and go for one Icicle Spear here, and for another one, and for another one. This will allow us to get the opponent into a range where I might be able to just farm down with my Azumarill, because I definitely want to get some energy here and don't really want to throw anything. And of course, I kinda still want to keep my shields here for my Galarian Stunfisk in the back, so maybe we can flip it later on as well. But let's take a look at this one. We're going to see a Psychic coming through, we can farm them all the way down. And in comes now the Lantern, where we're going to be able to swap out into the Galarian Stunfisk. We can take a Surf, at least from this Pokemon here, which is going to be nice. But still, I'm going to shield up the first one, and we're gonna see that they're gonna go for another Surf here. And now it depends if I want to go for the bait or not. And I'm gonna go for the bait here. Was it a smart decision? We will find out shortly. Nope, it was not. But, yeah, I'm kinda curious. If I went for the Earthquake there, I feel like I would have been able to just win the game at this point of time, because the opponent has most likely the Noctowl in the back, I would say. And no, it's actually the Pelipper. So, I still think I would have been able to win the game if I just went straight for it, to be fair. So, yeah, this was kind of on me. Still would have been winnable, even though we had the worst possible lead. Now we have a very nice lead here with the Dragonair. Still don't really want to get rid of my Azumarill just yet, so I don't really want to give it too low. It's kind of an ABB line that the AI built here for me. So we kind of want to keep our Azumarill alive, and especially with our backline there, we're going to have a great Say Swap here in the Walrein, and we're going to get out the Bastion from the opponent. And this can be very decent for us as well, as we can go for the Earthquake here straight away, and this is going to put us into a very decent spot, as we can go ahead now, let this move go through, let them knock me out, and farm them down with my Galarian Stunfisk in the back. And this is going to be exactly what I want to do here. I'm just going to go ahead and try to get as much energy as possible, but sadly they're just barely going to be able to reach a Flamethrower here. Still not really worth it for me to shield, but I'm gonna get a ton of energy here. And in comes now a Medicham, which is really bad for me, because now I have to go for an Earthquake. Gonna get some damage onto them at least, but they're gonna go ahead and go into the Dragonair. They're going to catch Ice Beam here, which definitely doesn't really help them too much. And I still have 2 shields left. One shield definitely going to go into my Galarian Stunfisk, because at this point of time, I feel like my best player winning this game here is to shield this move, because I have to, and then just hope that I'm going to be able to reach an Earthquake with my Galarian Stunfisk. And we're going to see here right now, the Ice Beam is coming through, the Ice Beam is going to knock out the opponent, and I can swap out here. No, I cannot, the opponent can farm me down, but I will be able to now be in my Galarian Stunfisk, and I'm gonna call the Power Punch, which is a really good call by me, as now we're going to be able to go for the Earthquake, and we can say goodbye to the opponent's Medicham. So far it's a 2 and a 1, while the one game that I lost, while we got kind of walled as well, I still maybe had a chance of winning this. Let's take a look at the next game here. We're going to have a Vigoroth in the lead, which is going to be fairly decent for us, as you're going to get out a Noctowl. And I make a huge mistake here. I should have never went into my Galarian Stunfisk here. I went for my Galarian Stunfisk because usually you don't want to go into the Pokemon that's your safe swap if the opponent swaps out there. But here, definitely Walrein would have been by far the better play. And so this was a really bad one. I think it was also the first battle that I actually played. Always like the games are not in order. By the way, all games that I played with this team are in this video. So like there's nothing cut out. Every game that I played with this was in here, 2 sets total, as you're going to be able to at least realign. But I fear that there's something in the back that I might not want to see. Something like maybe a Lantern or something. So you're going to see the body slam coming through, and yeah, I'm kinda scared at this point of time. I'm going to be able to go for one play rough against the opponent to get them a little bit lower, but no, they're going to actually shield up the charge move here, which is going to be interesting. So are they weak to a Azumarill in the back? I was wondering at this point of time, but I will be able to go for another play rough here right now. This is going to get the opponent fairly low, but doesn't knock them out yet. And I'm going to now go ahead and let this move go through as well. And we're going to see it's going to be a Gliscor in the back. And like this, it was actually amazing that we went into our Galarian Stunfisk instead, because they actually had 2 flying type Pokemon in the back, and this one is double weak to ice type moves, and this one is gonna go down here as well. The Vigoroth comes back in here, but we don't really care too much about it as well, because we're just going to be able to win this game. Next opponent, a very decent lead for us here. You're going to be able to go for play rough to just knock them out, but of course most opponents are going to be prepared here, and they're gonna go ahead and go into a Lickitung. And this is actually a fairly decent play for us now as well. We can go for one play rough, and I kind of want to try to get them into a range for just one Earthquake. Turns out I did not get this one done here. This is not a range for an Earthquake yet, and honestly my opponent places one really well as well. They're gonna go for the power up first, of course. Maybe I should shield up the move as well, because I'm most likely going to have to shield up one move now if I want to farm them down. And I'm going to no shield this one as well. Gonna try to go for the full farm down, hope that I can go to another one, but they actually get to another charge move very fast here, which I didn't expect. And they make a great play here. They're going to swap out just before they would go down into their Sableye, forcing me to use another shield here, but I didn't want to use another shield, so I'm going to have to let my Pokemon go through and like die there. But I will be able to at least go ahead and go for a play off against the opponent and lock my Azumarill against the opponent's Sableye here. This will allow me to also still survive one return and go for one Ice Beam here right now. Now it's all going to be coming down against here me for like the Walrein. The Walrein is supposed to win this game here for me now. I'm going to shield this move up, and I regretted this instantaneously, because they're going to have a Registeel in the back. And I feel like if I didn't do this, I most likely still would have lost, to be fair, never mind. The thing is, like, I would have won this if the opponent doesn't get a debuff here, if I didn't shield the foul play. But we will never find out if they're going to get this, but it's more likely that they get a debuff than not, so if they get a debuff, they're going to win. If I got no debuff there, I would have been able to win this game if I swapped out the entire, or like if I didn't use the shield against the Sableye. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but still going to be okay. Next opponent here, we're going to now encounter the Tapu Fini. I actually lost count on how we are looking right now. I think we're like 3-2, something like this. But you're going to now encounter the Tapu Fini, which is going to be also a little bit of a tough one, because Tapu Fini is going to be very neutral against Azumarill, while still going to be also very decent against at least our backline as well. It's going to be able to resist the moves from our Walrein here, while also going to be very decent against, of course, our Galarian Stunfisk in the back. Here the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk is coming in, where we can go ahead and go for the Earthquake to try to knock them out here, which is going to nearly work out. It doesn't do enough damage, but I might be able to get a shield, and I hope I get a shield, because the opponent is literally at a rock side right now. They don't have any extra energy here, so this will allow me now to let this move go through. I can farm them down with my own Galarian Stunfisk here now as well, and I get a ton of energy. This is just a rock slide. I counted the moves this time around, and I will be be able to just survive this one here. In comes the Tapu Fini again. Out comes the Tapu Fini as well, because the Earthquake going to just knock them out. And we're gonna get now the Gliscor, and we have to hope that we can outspeed them to a move. They're gonna get very fast to the Night Slash here, and now we just have to hope and pray that we get to the Ice Beam, and we do exactly that, and we're going to be able to win another game. I think we're like 4-2 right now. Either we're 3-3 or 4-2 right now. So let's take a look here. I know the end result at least, so that's totally fine. And we have another horrible lead in Lantern. And again, it's going to be us swapping into the Walrein, but getting into 10 games and 2 times Lantern lead is of course not really ideal for our team here, as we're going to have to shield up one move, but in comes now the Sableye, so maybe we're going to be able to flip switch here, which would be really nice for us, as we can see that we can go for another Icicle Spear here to try to knock them out, and we see that they're going to use a shield. So, like this, I'm going to let this move go through, hope it's a foul play. It's not, it's a return. And honestly, I really was like kind of upset by myself that I didn't shield there, because if I shielded, I think I would have been so fine to win this game here. But like this, I'm going to have to try to do something risky, and I have to try to go ahead and go into my Stunfisk to farm them down. But they survive with like literally enough HP for like one Mud Shot here, which is really annoying, as they're going to swap out now into their Noctowl, and this game is over. At this point of time, there's not a lot that I can do anymore. The Lantern again going to be hard countering me, and there is not a lot that I can redo to change anything of that. Again, very creative team here, Lantern, Noctowl, quite amazing. But Shadow Ball is coming through here, we're going to be able to shield this move up. We're still going to try, of course, we're still going to try. Maybe I can catch a Surf, go for a Play Rough, hit them with some Rock Slides, who knows. Some left or right punches there, who knows what I can do here. We can go ahead and go for one charge move at least. This Play Rough is going to do around 30% of the opponent's health, putting them into the yellow health here at least. But as you're going to see already, the opponent can still go for another charge move here. Thunderbolt going to knock me out, and they actually overfarmed enough to even get to a Surf here to knock me out directly. And that's going to be it for this game as well. Good game there to the opponent, as he can move on into the next one. Noctowl in the lead. I'm going to swap out because I have very decent answers in the back. In comes now the Buzzball. In comes now the Icicle Spear as well. And at this point of time, we're going to go ahead and try to go for another Icicle Spear afterwards. We see that they're going to go for the charge move, it's going to be the lunge. And actually, Azumarill should be fine just surviving all the moves here. There is nothing that really is doing really damage against me, unless they would have run the Poison Jab as a fast move, but of course they don't. So like this, we're going to be able to overfarm by a little bit, go for the Play Rough here right now, knock them out, and we have a shield advantage now. Definitely nice for me, right? But no, they're going to completely hardwall my team. Like, they literally hardwalled the backline completely. They have a double fighting backline against me, while I have, of course, a Steel type and an Ice type there. Of course, it's not something that I built myself like this, but still kind of annoying to get kind of completely hardwalled in this game. And there's nothing that I can really do about this. Like, honestly, I can still try to win this game, but it's going to be a tough one. We're going to see that we can go for an Earthquake, then they're actually going to let this move go through, which I wouldn't have done if I was them. But honestly, our Azumarill is just a little bit too low already. They had to take too many moves already from the Buzzwole. But of course, the extra energy can help us here right now. But as you're going to see right now, the wing attack damage is actually putting us into a range where they can go ahead and go for another charge move and knock me out. And the opponent doesn't even play that well. That's like the issue as well, sadly here. The opponent giving me quite a lot of free fast moves during the entire duration, which was really nice. But they're barely going to be able to now knock me out here, I think, with a Sky Attack. They actually don't, but like one more fast move is enough. So we barely still lost here, even though they had a complete hard wall for me in the backline. Which is, okay, I think we're 4-4 right now. So let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have a Sableye in the lead. This is going to be an interesting one again as well. Let's see what we can do here. We can try to go ahead and go for a Play Rough, but I'm going to shield up the first move as they're going to bait me for whatever reason. This is super, super risky for the opponent, but we can go ahead and go for the Play Rough here to try to get the shield and maybe even the knockout later on. They're going to go for another charge move here. It's guaranteed a return here at this point of time. No, it's another foul play. They try to overbait here a little bit as you're going to get out the Lantern. This is amazing that we're going to get out this Pokemon. We can take 2 Surfs, and this is very important for us because we have to take 2 Surfs in order to knock them out. I'm going to not play around here. I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake, which is going to give us the shield from the opponent as you're going to let the next move go through, knowing that we can survive one more. But we have to, of course, shield up here right now but the opponent still should be locked into this one. I might be even able to overfarm by a little bit here, and I can now go for the Earthquake, and this is going to knock out the Lantern, and our biggest weakness is gone with this one. You're going to see the opponent swapping out as well here onto the move. Very great catch by the opponent, catching the play rough here onto the Gliscor, which is really really strong one there from the opponent, as the Ice Beam is going to knock them out now. And now it's only the Sableye left, which is going to have to still deal with my Walrein. And of course, at this point of time, this game is over. We're actually going to be able to win this game, and it's going to look like a 5-4 now for the deciding game. Do we get a 6-4 and go like positive with this team here, or do we go ahead and go 5-5 and go neutral? This is going to decide on the final game here for today. We're going to have the Azumarill against a Venusaur. Horrific lead for us. It's going to be very difficult to come back from this one. You will be able to go ahead and go for an Icicle Spear here against the opponent, as they're going to shield this move up. We're going to shield up the move as well, and we will see here right now that the Venusaur is going to catch a move perfectly onto a Toxapex here, which is really bad for us, as we now have to go for another Earthquake here. And of course we still have our Walrein available, and it's looking really bad for us right now, to be fair. Because the opponent can now farm us all the way down after this one, it's going to be a little bit rough, but I'm going to swap out here. Gonna get the Brine though into my Galarian Stunfisk here. And I have to hope that I can reach the Earthquake in time to knock out the opponent, as they can go for the Brine spam, and I feel like they might be able to swap out in time, and they perfectly swap here into their Venusaur, allowing me to still go for one Earthquake, but they're going to swap out back into their Toxapex. And this is going to be an interesting one here right now, because the opponent is going to be able to go for the charge move here. I will be able to go for my own charge move there as well. That's going to knock out the opponent's Toxapex, and now it depends on what they have in the back. They have a Tentacruel. They're running a triple poison line here, but Galarian Stunfisk literally goes on a killing spree and like kills 3 Pokemon in a row here to finish up with a 6-4. So this team actually worked out well. The AI for the first time here gave me a 6-4 run, which is really good. And I can't wait to use this AI a little bit more often. I feel like I might just gonna go ahead and make this also a series and maybe do like something like Cyber Mondays, because the AI, I don't know, maybe we wanna do this for like later on. But this is going to most likely be on a Wednesday, so definitely enjoy this one. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.